This is my turf. Oh, we're my turf now. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey Sam, what's up? High five, cross through.
Except there's a couple of
You was. You might get lost somewhere.
At the end of the executive session? Or at the end of?
I just have an executive session at like 4 in the van.
Where to put this?
That's what I vote for.
Have another story where we're fit.
There is fuel, it's fine, no big deal.
How are you?
It's always a
He'll make He doesn't know he has to be private turkey. He can't.
Took him field out there. Pretty wet.
I just had around, but they're like, wow, it's still slow.
Believe me, mine is. I've been doing interviews.
That's a golf course.
I remember.
You wouldn't know, he's just practice this year. Ask him.
Well, we're in the running. We'll see what else we start this week. Yeah, we play.
I'll go this way.
Oh, no, one thing this year. Agenda this year.
That is such a nice staff. And something I had to do with was the last.
I can't,
We were
I
gonna give
can't
y'all
make,
kindergarten
I can't
chairs so
make
you go
motions.
fast.
As chairman, I can't make a motion.
Oh, yeah, I guess if you're the acting, it doesn't say about the acting chair, it just says the chairman. You're the vice chair.
But by definition, I'm chairman. By definition.
You can suggest it, and someone else should have to make a motion. That's right.
Baseball stadium.
But, so that one is.
And then start doing it.
Oh, you mean the correction?
Yeah, this actually has to say this, so that you can run it something else in the bigger. And then if you want to add this on to the agenda, you can do this. If you don't know what to do, you can ask one here.
I don't.
That's me.
Yes, I'm gonna. This,
Yeah, you would have to make.
we're gonna have to deal with this resignation. Okay, this is Sky's resignation.
Oh, that one's actually not,
Or is this one?
that one's initial.
So we're gonna have to amend your.
From, okay, yeah.
The other one didn't come in before we left, so I didn't print it. We only have it in email.
Just Alicia's,
We have hers printed, the other one we don't have printed.
okay.
So right here,
So you're gonna have to add them.
I'm number 4, we're gonna approve.
No, we were gonna put this as new business. We're gonna amend the agenda, add this to new business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that okay, or?
Yeah, I guess we could. Yeah, we can.
So where do we make the amendment here, approve and adopt the agenda?
Well, yeah.
You're gonna have to move to add
Move that we add.
this to new business. Okay. Oh, this is yours? I got two of the same thing.
I have one.
Oh, I must have forgot to put one in. One, so that.
Oh, my word. This is gonna be interesting. I have to wait till we have a quorum.
Where's Morris?
Yeah, we have to have.
Morris
three
and
people.
Randy. There's been,
Is Morris here yet?
yeah, he's good.
Oh, that's right, I think we have to.
Yeah.
I think the best idea is to pull it straight up and then move out of the way.
It's a good idea. I'm gonna let you pull it.
Yes.
We have a flag there. Are we gonna dedicate the flag? I mean, that's on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
Who's talking to me?
There's a, did you get the flyer
They
for
haven't.
the?
Oh, you want me to hand
dedication?
that? I took it.
Yeah, it says, because it's on the agenda.
Yeah, that's why I was handing you that. We might not have to do something that big, just,
Okay.
you get one to George. And I should get one to, or this one to Jane, and it's eight.
Mr. Chair,
Jeez.
Mr. Chair, we have two options. We can, agenda item. The issue that was raised with the last meeting, I called the attorney didn't speak to me. The attorney has apparently spoken to the school superintendent. And according to our attorney, we can amend the agenda, and that's what I was gonna say, we can amend the agenda and include it now. And give the reason why. And we can add that to them,
Right.
like, or we can do both. According to the attorney, delegations can move
I thought
forward.
it was already on.
No,
I
it's
thought
not
it
on.
got added.
9B.
9B.
He said we could do both on 9B. But
No,
See?
so, but I'd like to talk to him and find out why. But with the two resignations,
Not all, just.
I just see a lot of trouble. If you get to it. And
We can defer it to another meeting.
but I need meetings for the next,
Every week.
every week for the next
Month.
month. Please. So
And
I
I'm
think,
prepared to do that.
I think we are into executive session and just look at what we're going to do. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes. You and I are on the same.
But then we just do executive session tonight. Maybe if you want to listen to the teachers who've given up there. And then just during executive session, circle some things and defer everything else.
are you saying do session tonight or don't?
I don't know.
Because there's one thing that has to be handled, and that's the future contract needs to be addressed tonight.
Okay.
So we need to go into executive session for that.
But then we won't make the amendment. Or we can make the amendment, go into executive session and choose what to do.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
There are two options. We can change the agenda before we start the meeting. Right. And secondly, we can, once we start the meeting and we come out of executive session, then there's a certain criteria we have to go through to change the agenda, which is very difficult to do. So we could change the agenda before the meeting and then go into executive session, at least it's on the agenda, either way.
Yeah, why don't you change the agenda before the meeting? You can still
Yes.
choose not to vote,
Yes.
but at least have it on there in case that's what we want to do.
Okay, so
That makes sense.
let me just have a look at this. Community forum. Community forum, where's executive session?
It's
It's after.
it's right here. It's 8. It's 8.
Oh,
Top of it.
I'm sorry, I'm used to looking here.
Yeah,
I'm not-
there was so much paper, I tried to do both sides, so. Same paper.
Executive session, and then here, ABC.
I can't bring any motions to, this is our last. This is the last. Oh, you're
This is the
looking-
last meeting.
You're trying to use verbiage.
Yeah, you can put there. They see where there's rules. That's how we're gonna. You should see what they have got now.
Okay, cool.
Also, because it's urgent, there's another thing I'm asking to include is to accept the resignation, so we can.
Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree with that.
No, Lucius
And skies.
and Scott. Oh, okay, because we don't
That
normally
way
have.
we can go ahead and advertise.
Do they finally have something to come in?
Yes, they send emails.
Okay, but we didn't print out the email. for Scott. We only have.
I've got it right here in my box. Do we need to print it or do we just look at it?
What do we need?
Sky's
I
resignation.
can pull it up so that you can all see it.
Where
wanna
it
print
is.
it?
If I send you an email,
Yeah.
if I send you an email.
I'm telling you, do I have to look to it?
Okay.
Oh, I can just, let me see if I can print it from mine.
It may take you longer, but let me just email it over and let it print. Can you pull up and print? If I email it to you?
I can, but she.
So-
Okay. Guys, we'll get started in just a minute. A couple issues came up. Sorry about that.
Hunt. So,
And then we have to advertise school board positions. For those, for
so
the
we have to,
respective.
we have to approve that.
We have to accept
That's
the
gonna be-
resignation, and then we have to.
You know which zones they are?
open, I can say respective, or I can look it up.
Yeah. Zone 2 is Sky, Alicia. Zone 4. Zone 2 is Zone 4.
Sky's 2, Alicia's 4. So,
I'm adding to action items, approve or deny your contract. Right, that's a proper verb. And then under new business, accept the resignation of Sky Davis
so this is new.
and Alicia.
So right here, just add approve or deny superintendent contract. Right here, C. Or would it be
I put it down as C.
approve or deny superintendent contract?
To where we were talking, words were.
Superintendent. Yeah. You want to stay the year for just
2020 to 2023.
2022, 2023. Okay, and then under new business, you're gonna add the accept the resignations of board members. Sky Davis, Zone 2, and Alicia Hunt, Zone 4. Accept the resignations of board members or trustees. Trustee Sky Davis, Zone 2, and trustee Alicia Hunt, Zone 4.
Trustees.
And then okay.
Thank you.
There's gonna be some stuff.
2,
Are you sure? Shannon can reach it.
Yeah.
Oh, you can reach it? I was there talking. Shannon got it. To make it noise.
Oh, it's doing something, okay.
So we've made these changes now. Our reason is that for this one, it is because of the motion that was laid. The motion was not definitive. Right?
The motion that we had last week,
Yeah, and if you want, and if you check me, I'm going to be in your ear all the time.
please.
Okay? And then we also adding to accept these resignations because they're double resignation and we want to get it done before the semester. So, and so that is why we're adding that's the good thing.
Okay, what about this? We scratch this?
No, that we leave it on,
Okay,
but unfortunately, next Tuesday, and then we have another meeting. But at the end of this meeting, we'll have a special board meeting, May the 17th. And I think we need meetings for the next month,
Yes.
every week.
If we get through some of these.
And then,
So,
and
yeah.
then during exec,
Amend the agenda, then we get into executive session, we talk about some of the details on these issues.
I don't know if you.
Well, on the issues that are.
Oh, yeah, no, I was talking about leaving out some of these.
Yeah, I think what happens when you get an open session and he reads it, you could say, Mr. Chairman, I'm making a motion to push this to the next meeting. And if, if there's a couple that are quick approvals, you might want to do those tonight and push what you can. Does that make sense?
Yes.
There's guys.
Yeah, just so,
Oh,
I was telling, Robert, that handbook you need to do.
so when do we want to add the S for handbooks?
Oh, that's for an amended, so.
No, we're saying, then this is in here already, I'm going over it.
Under new business.
Yeah, but it's on the agenda.
But it's a misprint.
His handbook, which is a mix.
There's 3 handbooks.
Ready?
No, George.
Not yet.
George?
Oh, because otherwise we don't have a quorum.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Thank you, appreciate
Do
it.
you have the recorder?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, let me grab that.
Do we have a photocopy here?
A what?
Do we have a photocopy here?
Yeah.
We have the amended agenda.
I write it down.
Can you make a photocopy of that, and post it on the Twitter?
All
I
pages?
No,
apologize.
That
the
page.
pages that were written, and
Okay.
then just post them on the door and it will start the meeting. They have to be posted first.
I
Should it
can't
be on
read
the
anything.
inside of the door or the outside?
Yeah.
No, they must be posted,
Right, before I can do anything.
and then, yes,
Oh,
that's
because
it.
then you have to make, a motion for them to.
No. We have to give a good faith reason.
Yeah. But you know, that's separate motion.
Oh, thank goodness. So actually.
Because if it's amended before the meeting, you don't have to make a motion.
But you have to state the good faith
So
reason.
that was good.
You know,
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
We can be,
So
it's
when
not
you
ours.
guys start, push something down, okay?
Okay.
I hope you won't play games.
I hope
So.
So I don't think anybody can read it.
It's up there.
Oh,
So
are we?
just give the good faith reasons, say that the agenda has been changed and posted, and just give the good faith reasons. You don't have to state it.
We're gonna do the dedication. So who's gonna do it?
Press start on the recorder
Okay.
first.
Do you want
We
to
don't
do
have any champagne or anything.
Shucks.
I'll be okay.
Hey, we got juice boxes. Juice boxes.
Just tell them that the agenda has been changed. Amended. And the reason is.
Do you want to do it here?
No, this is before the meeting.
First.
Yeah, I know, when it starts, when you
My
guys are
car
ready to
car
start.
back
it.
up.
Don't forget.
Unless you want to, but people always forget. So. I'm just making sure.
Okay, you sit there and you watch.
Don't you think?
All right, just make an
Come on.
announcement.
All right, here we go.
All right.
No,
We don't
this is
need to.
before the meeting. This is before the meeting.
I've been thrust into this position by some rather unfortunate or
Extraordinary.
extraordinary circumstances. I will be the chairman tonight. I was the vice chairman, but, and I just want to announce that we have changed the agenda before the meeting because of those extreme circumstances. And the agenda is posted on the door as you're supposed to. So the extreme situation that we find ourselves in at this time is mainly because our chairman, Sky Davis, has resigned, and another board member, Alicia Hunt, has also resigned. Sky is
And also,
so that's the reason we had to amend the agenda. So let's get, you want to get started? Okay, I'd like to bring to order regular school board meeting of the Garden Valley School District number 71, Tuesday, May 10th, 2022 at 6, it looks like 6:20 p.m. at the Loma School. We start off with roll call.
Morris Morgan,
George Simpson.
Rob Murray. So we have a quorum, that's good. Item number 2 on the agenda is to dedicate the new flagpole at the Loma School. So there's a little procedure that we're going to do, which involves us going outside and facing the flagpole, and you will lead us in that dedication.
Right, and I wanted to ask if it was kosher if we had an alum from Logan lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Would that be all right?
yes.
Yes.
Yes, that could happen.
Yes,
Great idea.
excellent.
Good to see you.
How are you? Good to see you.
Oh, skin cancer.
Oh, okay, they've been whittling on you then.
No, they need to.
Oh, they need to.
All right. I just had an episode in the hospital with something else. I went into it, so now I have to move back. Yeah.
Just that one went forward there. Cut that off.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. That was a lovely, actually, it was I'll always remember that ceremony. And your bringing up the fact that one of those jars is ours is very apropos for this meeting, because we do need positive influence on this meeting, and we'll continue on. Okay, next item of business, item number 4, is to approve and adopt the agenda,
Amended.
the amended agenda, which is posted. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve and adopt the agenda, amended agenda. Second.
All in favor? Any further discussion?
No.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, continuing on to item number 5, consent agenda. Item,
I move that we approve the consent agenda as listed.
I'll second.
any further discussion?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Delegations, item number 6. Delegations and reports. Item 6A, superintendent report. Randy, you're up.
I will be very brief tonight. We've got a lot of things on the agenda, and we're going to have Stephanie speak next on behalf of the school. A couple of things she wants to update the board on. Then our maintenance director will also speak. But there's nothing in my report that needs to be handled tonight, so we can push it to the next meeting. So I'll forego unless anyone has a question for me on anything. Okay, Mr. Chair.
Okay, then moving on to item 6B, the Loma school reports. Stephanie Williamson,
Do I need closer?
please.
Yeah,
We're recording it, yeah, the audio,
So you're on camera.
and you're on camera.
If you stand right next to Mr. Simpson here, you'll be on camera.
Well, welcome to Loma School. This year, we started with 9 kids. 2 moved. This is a long time ago.
It's almost a year ago.
So we have 7 at this time. Let's see, we've had a great school year. We just finished testing. Yay. And this year, Thanks to the board approving them last year, we had a lot of improvements that have made our lives easier. We have a new heater, and we have our new teacher shed, which is not full yet, but will be, I'm sure. What else did we do, Dave? Oh, we got insulation in the floor, which I really appreciated. Sitting on the floor with the kids was much nicer this year. Am I missing anything? Oh, Shannon and I put down the flooring. We moved our coat area up here and we painted. So if you notice the trim we didn't get to the trim, but Shannon and I and some parents were here. Randy stopped by and said hi too this summer, and we painted the school. And just a funny thing to note, Paul Felty, one of the parents, came in and I said, "How do you like the new paint?" And he went to school here. And he said, "It looks the same." And I said, "No, it was all white." And we had pulled off these shelves and moved them from here to there. And by golly, if that teal color was not the exact color that the school when he went to school here.
Well, I, for one, I've never been here, but I could tell when I walked in here, it's a very welcoming and warm place to come into, and it looks really nice. I'm sure the kids have great times here.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any questions? What do y'all want to know?
I don't know, when was this school first opened then?
Well, there are not clear records.
Is
That
this
I
the
know
original
of.
building that was here? It is?
I think this building has been here since the 50s. And I think it's late 50s from the records that I've seen. But I'm assuming this building came either from a CCC camp or mine or something like that, because it was probably built in the 30s, 40s. And
So it was moved here.
of course, my first year, I had grand designs of making a Loma history and writing it all down and finding the oldsters and got busy. Sorry. But there is a little bit of Loma history in a notebook that Jan Ward actually, I think when she had some older students, she had them do reports and they had interviewed some of their family and got some Loma history. So that's as good as we have. What else? We love our school. We love our sledding hill. We didn't get to cross-country ski this year because I had surgery in December, so I wasn't up for it. But we have enough for usually all the kids to ski a few times a year. And those are some of the things that are special about our school. We have snowballs and sticks, which most schools don't have.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing all that with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, the Loma maintenance report, Dave Handy. There it is, yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dave.
There's more of these if you want them. Ain't much. You would like one. First of all, I want to tell you how blessed I am to have Stephanie and Shannon up here at this place, because they are very self-sufficient. The floor she talked about, they peeled up the carpet. I brought them the planks and they installed it. So they're very self-sufficient. They do a lot of stuff up here, which makes our job in maintenance very easy, because it's easy to kind of forget about this place when you're busy down there. You know, there's needs up here that needs to be done, that have to be addressed, and they do a lot of stuff. So, as she said, there's a lot of things on my maintenance item completed list since the last school board meeting we had up here. She mentioned the fence being repaired, a new storage shed was installed, new luxury vinyl plank was installed, new insulation completely under the crawl space up under the floor, which she said made a huge difference. And we put in that new PTAC unit up there. Along with that, I don't know where it's at. I asked her where it was, but I can't see it. We
Well,
bought
it's over here.
Oh, okay, it's a little oil-filled floor heater too, because when it's 0 degrees to 15 degrees, it's hard for that thing to keep up, heating this place up to 68 degrees. So that made a big difference for her. So, and then again, the new flagpole I had on there because Gary came up and put the base of the flagpole in concrete so the flagpole would stand up there. But Stephanie, like she said, got it with the monies for scratching and took care of orders and everything. So then I have on here proposed future maintenance items. We have the new shed out there, but there's 2 old sheds that are still there. One's kind of really old, a little older than the other one, keeps the mower in it. They stock wood in it for the wood burning fireplace. It needs a little bit of work around the outside of some wood replaced, some things touched up, which we're going to plan on doing. Oh, and I wanted to say too that those first 5 items on the things that were completed since the last school board meeting were done. We talked about that here at the school board meeting, that this is what we wanted to do, this is what we wanted to do, and they got accomplished. So I say that to say, hopefully all these future maintenance items that we got on here will be completed by the next school board meeting that we have. So after we repair that, we have painting the exterior of the school building, this school building, and the 2 storage sheds, the 2 older storage sheds that we have out there, because we put 1 new storage shed up, and everything will be painted pretty much that color, called Crabby Apple and Pure White, I think, which is about the color that's around the outside of the school already. Then the third item is landscape maintenance of grounds, general cleanup, and sprinkler repair. If you look around out there, there's, we want to be able to clean up a little bit, spread some dirt, fix some sprinklers, clean up pine needle, things like that, kind of make it look a little pretty out there. But Steph brought up earlier that the kids like going out and they collect sticks, pine cones, there's all kinds of things out there. You can buy a kid a new toy and they go out and pick up a stick and have more fun with a stick or a rock or something than a new toy. So we'll try and leave a little bit of stuff out there for them to have. And then I'd like to obtain quotes for insulating the exterior walls of this school building. When we put that PTAC unit in, we found that the exterior walls are non-insulated. They're hollow. So I want to look into getting that insulated, which will help, the heating and air conditioning of this building. I had a number 5 on there, but that's already done. I didn't realize that. And then number 6, obtain quotes for LED lighting to replace these lights and some of the other little bulbs and things, which we did have an energy report done by a guy that came through our school in Garden Valley, and he came over here and put together a whole package for us and what the savings would be and stuff like that. So this is a very small switch over to LED than what our school would be. So I'd like to talk to our local electrician, Rick Phobes, and somebody else and see what it would take to just get switched over to LEDs here. And that's just about it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Miami.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay, this is where item number 7, community forum on agenda items. Public comment will be taken from the public on matters scheduled on the agenda. Chairman may interrupt or terminate an individual's statement when it's too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, repetitive, or irrelevant. Person wishing to speak on an agenda item should fill out a request to appear before the board form 4105F and submit it to the board clerk before the meeting begins. These forms will be available at the sign-in desk or can be found on the Garden Valley School District.net website under policy 4105F.
Okay. we have 2 of them male come over on the curriculum committee so they could speak during that agenda item, so.
These are all the forms.
These are,
those are
need to be executive session.
There are 2 for executive session, I didn't give those ones.
So which one, so these are.
These
Those are
for
for
now.
open session, yes.
Okay, first up, Joni Powell.
Yeah, I gotta find it.
How much time do you give them?
You have 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
You want time?
I'll time it.
You got it, Melissa?
Yeah, I don't know what the number is, the number of the item.
It doesn't matter, just.
It doesn't matter,
Just talk
okay.
about the position.
All right, what I wanted to do was just talk a tiny bit about something that I know. It's, the position, forgive me, I forget what it is listed. What is it?
ISS.
ISS, I know it more as an SSA. But, basically, what the SSA is for is it's called a school safety. And it can be, I can't remember what the terminology is. But, basically it's a person who actually assists. And I just want to tell you the things that I know about a person who does this job and what things, that person is able to do within that position that has, really helped the school where that person works. Anyway, so basically the idea was, I'll say she because I'm going to say she anyway. It's going to just come out. This person's a she, but she was hired by the principal and counselor at a elementary school K-5, and they needed some help because they didn't feel like that the teachers were getting what they needed, that the students were getting what they needed, and that they needed help to be able to be able to do a better job with the behavior system. So this person was hired, and I'm just going to tell you some of the duties that she helps with. Helping with safety, making sure all the crossing guards are good and go to areas where most behaviors might happen. This is a typical day for her. Might be happening in the morning, building relationships with kids when they arrive. Bell rings, checking in and seeing if there's any phone calls from parents from the day before with emails, then heading to room to assist with specific behavior, known behaviors for her to actually pre-meet with students. Respond to any calls throughout the day for student support in classrooms, help with behaviors on the playground if called, as well as behaviors happening in the classroom. When principal gets certain calls through the week, help with investigating specific situations, talking to students in regards to the situation, writing down anything to speak with a parent or a student, along with when it happens, make phone calls when needed in regards to certain situations, stand alongside the teachers with follow through on consequences for specific behaviors, go to certain specials if teachers are having trouble teaching their class due to child interruption and behavior. Okay. Always be a safe place for the kids and a listening ear. Be available to help principal if any situation needed. Put any behavior reports that need to be in Power School. Be the main go-to for all duty aids. Other support where needed. Help in cafeteria if needed. Help with crossing guard or noon duty recesses. Be in charge of making sure doors are. Anyway, okay. So anyway, I just wanted to at least share what I know, that it has just been such a benefit here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Joni. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Next up, Emily Erickson.
Sorry. I shouldn't complain. I'm not in one of these, but I sent the school board a recent letter, and I'd just like to read that aloud for the public, if possible.
And that letter is in your packet.
And it is in your packet. It says, "My name is Emily Erickson. I recently worked on the elementary curriculum committee to choose a new reading curriculum for Garden Valley Elementary. I have 4 students enrolled at Garden Valley School, and I have my English teaching degree from Boise State. And I have worked in the school the last year as a paraprofessional and this year as a substitute teacher. The curriculum committee included community members from the Valley who spent time researching, watching presentations, listening to and asking questions. I was one of the many who voted for the McGraw-Hill Wondrous 2023 curriculum, and would like to share some of my reasons for doing so. First and foremost, the Wondrous Curriculum offers something I'd never seen with the reading curriculum, but I view as incredibly powerful, innovative, and beneficial to the success of students. The Wondrous Curriculum offers the opportunity to have the same story provided at 3 different lexile, which means reading levels. What this means is that students who are struggling with reading, advanced readers, and average readers will all be given the same story, but with different vocabulary and word count based upon their abilities. This allows all students to progress their skills and fully participate in classroom discussions, irrespective of their reading abilities. This is amazing. As a mother of children with varying reading abilities, including a daughter who struggles with severe dyslexia, this flexibility is a game changer. My daughter with dyslexia has often been left behind in discussions and classroom participation because she cannot keep up with the reading level of her classmates. I've seen many students with similar challenges. The Wondrous Curriculum would allow her and many students like her to fully participate and progress without slowing down her other classmates that are reading at a more advanced level. I firmly believe this would benefit all students in the classrooms. Another reason I voted for the Wondrous Curriculum was how engaging the workbooks will be for the students. The content is eye-catching, exciting, and the curriculum contains interesting stories in different settings and different points of time in history. The Wondrous Curriculum also offers an easy and clear adaptation for a 4-day school week. Almost all curriculum is written for a 5-day week. With Wonders, the teachers are able, with just a few clicks, to adapt the work week and weed out any non-essential lessons so that students receive all the necessary information without the teachers having to spend time trying to navigate and modify the content to match what is required to meet the testing standards. This adaptation is extremely valuable and allows teachers to spend more of their precious time with our students as opposed to curriculum modification. There are other reasons this curriculum was voted on by me and the majority of the curriculum committee. Other advantages included student-empowered assessment, along with numerous strategies for teachers to identify common student errors and misconceptions. I know some concerns were addressed by individuals at the last school board meeting. While I think this is incredibly important to hear from community members, I strongly believe that we should understand the facts before expressing opinions and views. In 2021, the state of Idaho passed a law against any instruction that contained critical race theory. For our school to even consider the Wondrous Curriculum, it had to pass through and be approved by a possible Board of Education, the Idaho Board of Education. If they had in any way found that this curriculum contained stories or education that contained critical race theory, it would not and could not have been approved and allowed.
That's time, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, point of privilege here. Could I have her finish reading that?
Yeah, I think
Just
it's.
one
Yes, the
clarification.
chairman can allow them to have extra.
I want to hear the rest of it.
We grant additional
Thank
time
you.
to complete.
As I worked with others on the elementary curriculum committee, I was struck by how many of the people were those who I continually see donating their time and talents to mentor, coach, and serve in the Garden Valley School District, including our teachers, staff, and students. As you prepare to nominate a representative from the school board and discuss adopting curriculum, I ask that you will please not let Facebook or emotionally unfounded opinions by individuals who did not dedicate the time to fully understand and evaluate the curriculum options influence your decisions. Please look to the members of the community, your neighbors and friends who took time out of their schedules to educate themselves, spent hours reviewing the material, and voted on a curriculum they saw as the obvious choice for the students of Garden Valley. I want to thank you for your time and consideration in this matter.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up. Brock Wendell.
Mr. Guido.
Guido. Like Guido, but not.
With a W.
Mine will be fairly similar, not as nice a word as hers. My name is Brock Guido, and I've lived in Garden Valley for 6 years now. When my wife and I looked into moving here from Meridian, a big factor was our school system. At that time, Garden Valley had high ratings for an Idaho school. Since then, the ratings have only declined. Idaho as a state is ranked very low in its education system. And then to have kids in a low-ranked school within that state is very concerning. I spend time each week in school helping, just like I did previous years in my daughter's class. I have noticed a downward spiral of our school system. I do not claim to have the solutions to this problem. However, some of the things I observed during this time in the school may be helped by the new curriculum. The curriculum I scored the highest is for several reasons.
First and foremost, the curriculum seems to be better than the one we are using and the others we've reviewed at teaching our kids to read, write, do math, which should be everyone's goal. Second, this curriculum is very adaptive to our 4-day school week. Also, having the same company for both ELA and math makes it easier for the teachers learning to follow lessons plans and the digital side of the curriculum. Third, there seems to be a lot of teacher burnout at our school. This curriculum has pre-made lesson plans with many options teachers can adjust as needed to save them time, which I feel will help ease the burden on our teachers. This will also help substitutes teachers have a clear idea of what to do in class, which I have seen several subs struggle with. Fourth, there are students that misbehave in our school. Some of this may be that they are struggling with a topic or that they know it and they are bored. This curriculum has interventions and enrichment for each lesson, which will help kids along that are struggling and challenge those who are bored. Hopefully this will help address some of the behavioral problems I am seeing. The online aspect of this curriculum will be very helpful to kids that are out sick for several days, stay on track with their class, and the audiobooks will help out kids with dyslexia. These were the main reasons for scoring this curriculum the highest. I can't say for sure that this will help our school, but we have to start somewhere to try to change things, or we will just be stuck repeating the past. I personally am not willing to just sit back and watch that happen because this is directly impacting my children right now.
Thank you all for your input. Duly noted. Next item is we excuse me. I have so much paper here. Item number 8, executive session. We are going to enter into executive session at this time. We have many items on the agenda for executive session. And pursuant
Just
to,
read that day.
we're entering executive session pursuant to 74-206, paragraph 1A, B, F, and J.
I move that we, oh no. Roll call vote.
What's it?
Roll call vote. Just roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Yeah, roll call vote.
George Simpson,
Morris Morgan, aye.
Robert Murray, aye. Okay, we
Sorry,
now
we don't
enter-
have a space for you guys
Yeah.
to go
Okay.
into.
It's beautiful.
motion.
Excuse, we're making a motion. Let's see, executive.
Yeah, we were just following up. on the
Okay,
executive.
you have to say that we are after the executive session as of 8:08.
Okay.
So to do
Okay,
that-
let's continue on. We're officially out of executive session. Mark the time is 8:08. And we're moving on to item 9, action items subsequent to executive session. Item 9A is to approve or deny superintendent recommendation for rehiring of certified teacher Dominica Matheson for the 2022-2023 school year. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve or deny, we have a
No.
vote to approve or deny
No.
superintendent.
Only one of those.
Oh, really? Oh, because we were in executive session.
No.
No.
Oh,
It's either approve or deny.
Approve or deny?
okay. I make a motion that we approve superintendent recommendation for rehiring of certified teacher Dominica Mathiasen for the 2022-2023 school year.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in
Any
favor?
discussion, any further discussion? No. No. Ayes? Oh, we already, didn't it? Okay, good.
Oh, yes, we have asked about
All in
What's
favor?
all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 9, pardon us, we're learning on the fly.
I did great.
Item 9B, possibly approve the superintendent contract for the 2022-2023 school year.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to table this to a meeting next week, no later than next Tuesday.
Special school.
Special.
Special school board meeting next week. You want me to say that again? Mr. Chairman, I would like to table this item until the special school board meeting next week.
Oh, actually, I just tabled on there, so.
Good.
Okay.
To the, do we announce the meeting, the time?
Not
date?
yet.
Not yet, okay.
And then there's an item C.
Item C, 9C, approve or deny superintendent contract for the 2022-2023 school year.
Mr. Chair, I move that we table this item for our next special school board meeting on May the 17th, 2022.
Okay, new business, item 10, new business. Accept the resignations of the trustees Sky Davis for Zone 2 and Alicia Hunt for Zone 4.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the resignations of Sky Davis and of trustee Sky Davis and trustee Alicia Hunt.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. New business, let's see, what's that?
We need to open those and advertise them. Those two
Okay.
positions.
Yes. This is, I didn't mark this down as the, what's that?
Declare-
We are declaring open those 2 trustee positions and we'll be advertising for Zone 2 and Zone 4.
Yes.
Okay.
You get that?
Do you have a deadline for letters of intent? Do you want to make it 30 days from today?
It's got to be 30 days.
So 30 days from today would be, just pull my calendar.
But we still have to make the motion and vote.
Wouldn't
I'm-
that be included in the motion?
What's it?
the deadline for letters of intent would be included in the motion?
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
You can say 30 days, it's 30 days.
yeah, 30 days, say 30 days then. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I move that we advertise trustee positions for zone 2 and 4 with applicants due within 30 days.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Okay, do we have approvals?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, new business. Item 10B, discuss and possibly approve the parent-student handbooks, of which there's 3 for 2022 and 2023.
Presentation by Mike.
So, is there a presentation necessary for this item?
I have the
We're not on athlete yet.
We're not on
Yeah.
athlete.
You're on item B.
Item B,
Do the board members have any questions?
yeah.
Are we taking?
This is sent to
Yeah,
you
we're gonna
in
get
advance.
Okay.
It's basically updating for the new dates for the coming year and all major changes.
Yes, we are taking that.
Right. Do we have a motion to approve the handbooks?
I move that we approve the parent-student handbook for 2022, 2023.
Okay, so are there handbooks for that?
Yes, it has to be
Yes.
handbooks.
Okay,
We
I
amended
corrected the
agenda.
last, I corrected the wrong thing on my agenda,
Okay,
so it's handbooks.
so the motion needs to say handbooks, all 3.
Right, that's the way I read it, and that's what's corrected on the door.
Thank you.
Okay,
I move that we approve the parent-student handbooks for 2022, 2023.
I believe it's already.
He's singular.
I didn't say books. I'll second it though.
Okay, gotcha. I just want to make sure they're right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, yes. Okay, pardon my advanced state of age, but I skipped over an item 10A, which is a discussion on Title IX, Policy 3280, and the ISBA recommend Title IX policies 3085, 3085P, 3085F1, and 3085F2, and possibly approve policies.
Mr. Chairman, I vote that we, I'd like to make a motion that we table this to our next meeting on May 17th.
Second.
What's that?
Any discussion?
What's that?
Any discussion?
Any discussion, any further discussion? Okay, we have ayes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, item new business. Item C. Discuss and possibly approve the parent-student athlete handbook 2022 through 2023. We have a presentation by Mike Chandler, our athletic director.
Let me jump in before come on, Mike. Quickly, you guys remember the
Mhm.
page that we worked on? We had 3 readings
Yes.
on it. That's in here that you already approved. And then what we simply did is we referenced our drug policies that we already have rather than spelling them out in this document. So we streamlined it a lot more. And all the changes are in red, and Mike's here available to answer any specific questions you may have on that. Basically streamline the documents, what we did.
Yeah, so if you look through it, like, I think the first thing is just where we move this document to the home. And I know everything has to be approved to be changed.
This was
That's
Like on
conduct
page
on
10,
this.
we do grades on Tuesday instead of Monday, so most of them are basic changes. We added vaping in the drug category just because it wasn't there and thought it was necessary to put it in there.
Thank you for.
And a few things we put in activity. We had sports and all of them listed, and that didn't include drama and some of those things. So we changed that to activity instead of listing each sport. Here we struck out some of these things, as you can see, because it was written down twice, so we just moved it and deleted so it wasn't repeated itself. Same thing this year was already.
If you can, read the page numbers.
Okay, we're on page 12 now. Where's that 13? Take my glasses off here. 13.
That's all.
That's all
Struck
struck,
it.
Yeah. That's
but it
all.
is earlier in the document, so we didn't think there was any reason to have down there twice. It was moved to section 4. And this was section 2.
Yeah, I see it.
And the review clause on page 14, for whatever reason, it talks about this was passed August 12, 2014 for the 14-15 school year. So just didn't apply. We're just kind of streamlining anything we can. And once again, on page 15, change it to all activities. And and there we changed it, said grades 7 through 12 for middle school. And of course, our middle school is 6 through 12. So we struck out the 7, we're going to put in a 6. And some years we have to have 5th graders if the numbers say we need to, if we only got 8 kids for football. But we're trying to, if we've got plenty of 6, 7, and 8, to exclude the 5th graders until they're ready to play. And on the drug testing, made that pretty simple on page 16. The only test we do at the school are allowed to do is the urine test. So that was put in there instead of just drug testing, so they would know what type of test. And there, this was struck out, so we didn't need the lead paragraph right here on page 17, the determination, because that's already listed again.
Oh, yeah.
So, and here's the wording. For whatever reason, it talks about quitting. We said a quitter may not do that. We changed it to a athlete who quits a sport. Just because it sounds better than a quitter. I don't know how I got in there. But, and here we just changed the wording about dealt with severely to consequences decided by the coaching staff. So we tried to kind of leave some things on open-ended and other things refer to board policy. Number 5, we can see on page 21, under cheerleaders, they don't assist in administrating games. I don't know why that was there. We put positive under being objective and positive.
Yeah.
And then the end of it's just the documents we added at the end. When we talked at the end, the parents sign the drug consent form and then the general form that was up front. So.
That's just so they can tear that off and hand
Yeah.
it back in.
Yeah, because they had those in when we put those on file, the parent paper and the drug consent form. So, no major changes, basically just trying to reorganize it and make it make more sense. So,
Yeah, no, you did a good job.
okay, so are there any questions on it?
Yeah, I have one question.
Okay,
And it begins where it's at the bottom of page 18, going to the top of 19,
yes,
about missing practice.
right,
Or again, without good reason, will be dealt with. Will have consequences decided by the coaching
yeah,
staff.
and,
The
yeah,
coach or the coaching staff. Now, is the superintendent or the principal involved at all? It's
no,
strictly-
that's usually maybe running extra laps or, if you missed a practice, that's why we took out the being dealt with severely.
Yeah, oh, I
On a
understand.
case by case basis, so.
Right.
So it would just
Kind of
basically
leave it
be
up
a
to
minor
coach to manage
infraction.
their sport, you know.
You know, if it would be set out a quarter of the next game because you had an excused absence or running or whatever. So we tried to make it, the coach should be able to decide, you know.
Or
boys
training
on team.
with a club.
Well, yeah, that's what they like to do. But, you know, that would go under the other policies, so. But
And there's still due process. If you look at that, what we updated, those three readings, that number 15, that basically gives them an opportunity to appeal it up to the administration, and we'll look at it on a case-by-case basis. You know, for anything they want to appeal in this handbook, you know, any issue, so.
Okay, thank you, sir.
okay,
Excellent. Excellent. Good job.
Thank you, Mike.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the parent-student athlete handbook for 2022 to 2023.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Where's the next thing? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, new business, item D. Discuss and possibly approve Title I School Parent Compact Agreement with no changes to policies 2420 and 2420P. Annual retirement in parentheses. Questions from the board to be answered by attendees of the meeting held to review this agreement.
As it stated, it's an annual requirement that we review these policies for any changes. I'm not recommending any changes to the policies. I recommend that we approve it. As these continue forward. That's just,
Yep.
that's it, right?
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve Title I School Parent Compact Agreement with no changes to policies 2420 and 242. Annual requirement. No, I don't have to say that. Questions from the board to be answered? I don't have to say the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Oh, I know.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion?
Or any discussion, any further discussion?
Yep.
Now,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item E, discuss and possibly approve the following emergency school closures. Garden Valley School District, January 20th and 24th, 2022 due to staffing shortages. Loma School, April 12th, 2022 due to power outage.
Mr. Chairman and board, whenever we do an emergency closure for any reason, we can do that. I can do that at my discretion. We just have to send it into the state at the end of the year with the board's approval for those closures for them to update their records. So this is that process of you guys approving it, so.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the following emergency school closures. Garden Valley School District, January 20 and 24, 2022 due to staffing shortages, and Loma School, April 12th, 2022 due to power outage.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yes. It's been brought to my attention that two people from the public have come to me. They were available for, what do you call that? To fill in? Substitute. They've been approved, they've gone through the whole application process, and they've never been called.
If you can give me their names, I'll check them.
So that was easy to say. Because when they asked me why the school was closed, I had told them at the time, or one person at least. And the individual said, wow, I was involved.
I can tell you we have more than two people out. I mean, we had a lot of people out, but even having two more subs would not have alleviated the issue.
Okay.
It was more than that.
I mean,
Much more than that.
Yeah.
Any
Motion.
motions?
We,
Oh, you already did
We already have
that.
the
let's discuss.
This was the
All in
discussion.
favor?
Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, item F, discuss and possibly approve the resignation of Susan Briggs. What's that?
I'll do the next one. I move that we approve the resignation of Susan Briggs.
Discuss and possibly,
No,
okay.
second.
Oh, I second it.
Any further discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I move that we approve the resignation of Wendy Heckathorn.
Second.
Any further discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I move that we approve the resignation of Kyle John Choi.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Discuss and possibly approve a process and documents for an employee exit questionnaire / interview.
Can you make this our first reading?
We table
on the
that.
table,
Sure.
Okay.
please?
Any questions about the process or anything, or? you're
I
good?
got your thing, you sent it.
Yes.
It was good.
It's excellent. Yeah. It's good. It's- Okay, so, is there a motion to approve? Approve the first reading? Or
No, we just
do we,
tabled
we just tabled it?
Yeah.
Tabled it to our next meeting or next meetings? Okay, item J, discuss and possibly approve the construction of an RV pad on the Loma School property to include water, septic, and electricity hookups to be used by Loma School personnel.
Mr. Chairman, board, if you remember, I brought this up a month or so ago in my report that I was going to explore this. One of the major issues facing schools in Idaho is housing of teachers. Okay. We were looking at a situation where our Loma teacher is going to be going back down to Garden Valley next year to teach, and so we have an opening up here. There was an opportunity to explore some of the property we have here to construct an RV pad in hopes of giving an affordable opportunity to someone to rent the RV pad that would be teaching here. Okay. As we looked into it, and I made copies for you that I just got together over the last couple of days as we got the estimates in. The DEQ approved for septic back here on the lot. Okay. We have an estimate for septic around approximately $8,000. Idaho Power gave us an estimate for hooking up power. An electrician gave us an estimate constructing the plug-ins for the RV. And our water person gave us an estimate for running a water line out to have water. The total cost of all that is less than $20,000. It's in the $17,000 range. So I wanted to present it to the board as a viable opportunity to do this, to help, something I would propose that we would rent it to the teacher at a market price. If we're somewhere in that $600-700 range, it's kind of normal for RV rentals. We would make back the money over a couple of years to cover. Okay. So it's an option. It's certainly not something that has to be done. It's just I want to present it to the board as a viable option to help with housing.
Do we have a teacher that's interested in that pad?
We do.
Okay. All right. Thank you. The other thing is the pad, is it going to be concrete?
This is just a dirt pad at this point. We
Okay.
could,
All right. No,
we could go concrete and cover, but I didn't go down that road. This is just the bare minimum to have a pad. And that's why I'm bringing it up. I mean, I want your input, discussion. I'm looking for options and alternatives to help.
my fear is if the teacher is living in Garden Valley and coming up here for part of the time and paying for this, so the teacher would be paying for this rental over here, the pad, and down in Garden Valley.
This particular teacher would be, they would be living in their RV up here.
Winter time?
Yes.
I got a lot of people that do it. It works if you do it right.
Yeah, 4 houses.
Gotta have a four-season
Uh,
RV, that's for sure.
My questions and what I'm trying to think about is considering the individual.
Mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't be personally, that's why I'm asking. Does this person want to do it? Does this, all those questions, because man, it's going to be tough.
I do.
Another thing to think about down the road, there are school systems that own mobile homes, that own small homes that they rent to their faculty and staff, okay? Having septic and water and electricity installed gives us the opportunity at some point to, if we had the money, to purchase a mobile home, with a snow roof, obviously, to be there, that could be rented. It opens the door for some viable alternatives down the road. But this was an immediate need, that a teacher expressed a desire to come up here, needed an RV pad, and I explored it to see what it would cost us.
Do you know the size of the septic? And how much it can handle?
Dave is gone.
Okay, you can,
Don't quote me on this, but I think it's 3-bedroom. I'll make sure.
so at
You
least we
mentioned it was
know.
already looked at it as an approval,
From DEQ.
From
They approved
DEQ.
it to put septic on the property, yes.
which means that they've looked at that.
Yeah, but I just wanted
Yeah.
to know the septic, how big is it? But then again, we only have one teacher here, so it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. I just.
No, it's-
Well, they could bring a family, who knows,
It's a legitimate question.
Mr. Thompson, I don't know the history on this, but why do we have a school in Loma? If we only have 4 to 5 to 7 students here, I'm sure there's
Can I
a reason.
answer?
Yeah.
I asked this question many, many years ago, and it's financially viable for us to have the school over here.
I got you.
Okay,
I got you.
no, yeah,
The way the system's set up.
yes.
Okay.
I've read the email, I've read your reply.
The second one also.
No.
You did a follow-up to my reply.
No,
It
It
was long, I
If
realize.
you look
that.
at this over here, I'm being
Yeah.
honest, I did
No,
not
that's
read the
fine.
reply.
I just wanted you to know there was a second
Um,
follow-up.
Oh, that,
I do know that school districts have homes, have to do this,
Mhm.
and it's something we're gonna have to look into
We'll
the
look
future,
into
but
Yeah, I'm not trying to single out and give favors to any one teacher
No,
over
that-
another. This
We
is
know
about looking, we're gonna charge a market price for the rental, it's just, districts do this already because they have to provide housing.
yeah,
And
it's
it's an issue in Garden Valley. It's something that frankly, we need to look at down the road on our property there in Garden Valley. Is there an opportunity to do something there? Because
our septic's not big enough already.
Well, heck, they're putting in
on the
all
back
those,
40,
they're putting in all those condos down there by Davies Bridge.
there you go.
Just kidding.
Okay.
Okay.
I move that we approve the construction of the RV pad on the Loma School property to include water, septic, electricity hookup to be used by Loma School personnel.
As per the quotes we were given.
Yes.
Second,
Any further discussion?
I had another question.
You asked about concrete, I know that, so.
No, I'll let it go. Oh, yes, I do. Whoever puts this in, do they need to be bonded?
Any septic system.
Licensed, insured, yes.
License insured and bonded, okay. All right, that's fine. Okay. Motion second, discussion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item K, discuss and appoint a school board member to be a member of the curriculum committee.
I'll just say that I want to be on this committee. We are going to have something at the end in old business tonight too. So we're going to be able to vote on this as well. Right? So it may be a moot point, but I want to be on this committee.
Okay,
You could move it to the end. You could like put off the vote for now.
Okay. Can we just,
Or do you want to do it, put it off to our special?
no.
Do you want to do it tonight?
Yeah, so let's just move the discussion to the end of this item K,
Okay.
because I do want to be on the committee, but we are going to be able to vote on it towards the end of the night anyways.
After old business?
No, it should be an old business somewhere.
It's item G in old business.
Okay.
It's item G in old business?
no, it's not.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, the curriculum.
So you're gonna add that after that, okay?
We'll remind you.
Okay.
Okay, noted. Okay, item L, discuss and possibly approve a salary range to be offered to applicants for principal position for the 2022 and 2023 school year.
We have to look to the career ladder for that?
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna explain. There is a career ladder for principals, okay? But we can, as a local district, offer above that, and that's what I wanted to talk about and see if the district is interested in considering that as we advertise for the position, or just handle it on a case-by-case basis as the applicants come in.
Handle it on a case-by-case basis.
That's fair. I just wanted to give you the opportunity
But
to
there will
put it
be a
out there.
range that
And there
we
will be
can.
a range based on their years of experience and education level.
Yes.
Is that published right now?
Yeah, it's in
The
Idaho
career
code.
ladder.
Idaho code.
It is.
Okay, all right, that's just, I haven't looked at it, so.
So just want to give you the opportunity if you wanted to advertise anything differently, so I could be able to do that, but that's perfectly fine.
So we don't have to make a motion on this
No.
one then?
So no motion.
Okay, item M, discussion and possible approval of leadership premiums.
Does it have to be tonight? Because we usually do that in the executive session?
Yeah, and can we push this one
Yeah.
to the next meeting?
Mr.
Okay,
Chair,
We had
Table-
so
let's
much,
table this one.
yeah, we
Okay,
had so much on the agenda tonight.
Alicia will, not Alicia, Melissa, we're tabling this to next meeting.
Thank you.
That's
And
what May
N
17th.
relates to Title IX, because we have to adopt that policy, so if we're gonna push that, then that needs to be pushed as well, so.
Table in?
Is it, next Tuesday is the 17th? Okay, I'm just writing this down. Okay, item N, discuss and possibly approve the MOU with the,
That's what I was saying.
that's what you were talking about with the Title IX
That actually
MOU.
doesn't relate to Title IX, does
Yes,
it?
it does.
Yes,
It's
it
about
does,
the adopt
yeah.
Title IX
to,
ISBA policy
Yeah.
to join that MOU.
so
So.
we're gonna table that as well.
Mhm.
Okay. Approve or deny the following coaches for the fall of 2022
As listed?
as listed.
Can we have
do need to-
discussion?
And I do need to update you on something, because once we publish the agenda, Jill White advises that She no longer wanted to coach middle school, so we need to strike that name. And, were there any other changes, Mike, besides Jill? Was that the only one on
Jill.
there? Other than, we're gonna have to add drama. But this is our normal fall coaching list. Almost new for us, so we've got to get it added. That's going to have to be at a future meeting because we don't have everything.
Was
And cheerleading, yes.
was Loma approved by the school board?
As a,
I think it was back last year, maybe. I have to go back and look. I can't
Was-
remember.
Was
was
Loma
drama
approved
approved
by the school
by
board,
the school board?
or did it just happen?
I think it's a class.
Yeah, class.
But the competition that they went to, the IHSA competition,
So
It's
is it
part of
a,
being in the class though.
it is part of being in the class,
Yes.
yes.
It's part of being in the class.
But I thought we
it's
had
kind of,
a normal sport because it's part of the drama class that's offered at the school.
okay. Question. I didn't know a lot about football, and I was a volunteer on the coaching staff for the school when Kiala Ho was the coach. Do we have to list the volunteer? If a person is volunteering, do we have to list them? And also, what are the advantages and the disadvantages for either the school or the individual if we list or don't list them?
Well,
Yeah.
It's a volunteer and
Told
coach.
us we needed to be approved and fingerprinted even if.
Yeah, we do a background
Oh,
on
okay,
anyone that deals
had
with
our
our children. So for that reason, they've passed the background before we bring them to you to be approved. So even though they're not getting paid and they're volunteering.
Yeah,
So volunteers
Yeah, I
will
had
have
to
to
go
do a background check.
Right.
yeah, but I was approved because I was a sub. And I was fingerprinted because I was a sub. Okay,
We do the same thing with volunteer coaches.
all right.
So I guess Mike, you guys are both good on this list? Everybody okay?
Yes, everything's on it. I recommend all of those that are on this list.
Yeah, and I guess we need to wait for the next meeting to add the drama and cheerleading.
And cheerleading.
So do you want to table this for now, or do you want to just add that as a different agenda for next?
I'd like to see it pass, because one thing is they have camps all summer and,
Right. I
they
moved
need to
it.
know for
And
sure
next
who's
week
coach.
we'll have, if you want to put that on the agenda for next week, we'll have the updated cheerleading and drama.
Yeah, we'll vote on it next week.
I would say as listed excluding Jan, just to.
So I move that we approve the following coaches for fall 22 as listed, excluding item J, Jill White for middle school volleyball.
Second,
Any further discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Phew, I did not read. Your file.
Okay. Oh, boy, that was a long slog. Old business, we're finally to old business. I can't believe it. I am old.
I'm asking, Mr. Chair, can we table this? Did not have time to read this policy.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
This is the second reading. That's the one we changed. We've already had first reading. I don't know if that changes your opinion, but this was the one dealing with the in-school suspension versus out-of-school suspension as the penalties and all that, so, on vaping. I mean, you're welcome to push it if you want to, but we've already discussed it one time.
Okay, because I did
Because
not
we
read it
haven't
before.
done much further work on
You
it.
just have to have 3 readings before it can be approved,
Okay.
so.
I think we should table it too. I'm
Okay.
pretty fuzzy on that one.
You don't remember everything we've talked about?
And
So
so
would
B
we
is
just
going
put
to
it
be
on the next
tabled.
agenda as a reading?
Now it's gonna be
We're
second.
Yeah,
Or would it be the
It'll be a
second
second
reading?
reading.
Second, because it's tabled.
Okay.
And then because of what happened previously, can we table B?
B has to do
Yeah.
because of Title IX.
Yeah. So how come? Was that redundant with the item
No,
10? It wasn't?
The other MOU was for the Idaho Digital Learning Academy.
Gotcha. Okay, so item 11B, we're also tabling that to the 17th or further.
It's up to you guys, what meeting you want in.
Because I can tell 17th is going to be full.
Keep working the list.
Yeah. Okay. 11C, old business, discuss and possibly approve adding a position for ISS teacher / behavior interventionist.
We discussed this at the last meeting. You heard from some parents about concerns with bullying and other behaviors. This is something that I really feel strongly is needed in our school system, especially changing our policy to have more ISS versus out of school suspension. And we have plenty of extra duties because of the nature of being a small system that we can assign to this individual to do whenever they don't have anyone in ISS. I mean, they can help with tech, they can help with subs, so we don't have to hire out a sub and covering classes and different things. They can help with some of the things Joni talked about earlier that her daughter does at another system, and just trying to correct behavior with kids and working one-on-one on kids that have behavior issues. So it's a real opportunity to positively affect some of the behavior issues in our school.
Does this issue exist in our school because a lot of these issues weren't dealt with, like bullying? And a lot of the behavioral issues within our school, does this exist because those issues were not dealt with previously?
Good question. It's a very good question. Part of the problem was the way our policy was written. You either suspended a kid out of school or you basically let them go back to class. There wasn't a lot of middle ground. I mean, we did some detention and things like that. This is a more focused effort on in-school suspension and using that as a vehicle to correcting behavior. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say we were perfect or have been perfect in our administration of discipline and all. I mean, there's always room for improvement at the teacher level, administrative level, everywhere. We'll always, strive to improve there. But this is an avenue to make some real headway.
Because if I remember correctly, it was stated that our school has a zero tolerance towards bullying.
That's what the policy states.
And that's why I'm asking the question, because this has become a problem. When I say lately, over the last few years, before that, and maybe there's somebody here that can correct me, we did not have this behavioral issue in our school, I want to say 3-4 years ago.
I wasn't here, so I can't answer that.
I just know there was I'm 43. There was bullying when I was growing up. I think there's been bullying for a long time. I think that word is more commonly used than there are negative social interactions. Right? There's lots of negative social interactions, and kids use that instead of saying, I had a really negative social interaction, they say, I was bullied today. Right? Bullying is a very different thing than negative social interactions. Does that make sense? We just had this discussion with the resource officer up here. Is that?
I'm going to respectfully ask you not to comment, because if we allow this, the school board gets into trouble when we allow this back and forth discussion.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you asked.
You didn't.
I'm asking.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The
You
board.
asked, so I apologize for that.
But thank you for trying to help. It's just that, as per policy, we get into trouble.
Can teachers can discuss this.
Not right now, because this is just school board. So,
Okay.
So
I can't even talk about it.
I
no,
wasn't here either,
you
so
can.
George may have been.
I do see the need for this idea. Everybody's been through it, but the idea I like,
the thought process behind this idea, because you are giving a middle ground. And I've had some discussion with parents who've been in other districts, and the benefit to some of these kids is that they're allowed to continue doing their work in school and they don't fall behind. So you don't have that endless loop, catching up on kids. And I find it, even my kids have a hard enough time keeping up with homework right now. I couldn't imagine being suspended for 3 days or a week. And
Almost 5 minutes.
so
Yeah,
I like the idea of this, particularly since we're there. I guess going to be a credentialed teacher, right?
It can be a para.
Could be a power.
Okay.
Most districts use a paraprofessional.
Okay.
Yes.
I think, I think that this individual is a type of specialized individual because there's the possibility that there could be more than one student that's a disruptive student in here. And so this individual needs to be extremely specialized in dealing with disruptive kids. Because you're going to have
I think that's why it's
3 to 7, I do not know, disruptive kids. And you've got to have an individual who can handle that.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking, is it possible? No. Okay.
It's a very good point. Yes. I mean, the selection of the person for this position is crucial.
Is there some,
That's okay.
is there a job description that we could look at?
Let me reach out to some of my contacts in other districts and see if they have one.
Because it would be nice to look at a job description and say, look, this is the qualities of the individual that we need to handle the situations that they might be confronted with.
I will reach out and try to have something for next week's meeting.
So I was going to make a motion that we actually have this position. Do you guys want to table it then? Is that what you're saying?
I hear that you want the position.
Well, I think
So-
we need to get this position going, whether,
As far
the
as the
method and how to
hiring.
get it done.
But that'll just be a para. Right?
Mm-hmm. That's what most districts use. It can be a teacher, but most districts use a para.
Well, I'm going to move that we approve adding a position for ISS teacher, behavior interventionist.
Second.
Any further discussion?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can table B?
Okay, old business item D.
Yes, sir.
Discuss changes.
Yes,
to-
that can be pushed.
That can be pushed,
Yeah, I'll
okay.
table that, or just no motion.
Okay. You don't mind, Melissa, do you?
No, that's not stuff that's pressing.
Okay.
E and F, I don't think anyone turned in a request to speak, did they? On E or F?
Those ones don't require
They
a
don't.
request, you just ask people. who are
Okay.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, item E, public comment and input on back to school plan posted on the website in August.
Has that got to do with COVID?
It is. It is a requirement that we give the public an opportunity to comment at our meetings, so.
No comment?
No comment? You haven't been checking up on news in the country? Okay.
So it is what it is, right? You're saying
Yeah, no
it
comment.
is as it stands, there's no changes, is what you're
Right.
saying. Okay. All right, item F, public comment and input on use of funds plan for ARP and ESSER funds.
Same issue, if anyone has any comment there or input.
Any public comment? Okay,
No comment?
no comment. Item G, Discuss and possibly approve the adoption of the new K-5 curriculum. Questions from the board to be answered by members of the curriculum committee.
And some members are here tonight and available to answer any questions you may have.
I carried a bunch of stuff in.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, we forgot.
So I would like to go ahead and start out by just reading a statement.
Just come up-
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
Reading a
Get
statement
in
when
the
we
camera.
reached out.
So
Get in the
people
camera
can
so
see it.
people can.
We reached out just in regards to
Why
a
don't you
couple of
tell them who
the.
you are first off,
Oh,
and your
sorry.
position.
I'm Hannah Mitchell. I teach first grade at the school, and was really excited to be able to research new curriculums, specifically reading. I'm also really excited for the math curriculum that we have kind of explored and come to a decision on as a committee, majority of the committee. And so there were a couple of concerns that were brought to attention at the last board meeting just about the Wondrous Curriculum. So we reached out to let me see their job title, the Vice President of the Academic Design and Literacy Program, about some of the concerns, and I just want to read it, if you don't mind. So it says, thank you for inquiring about our McGraw-Hill Wonders 2023 program, which there are a lot of schools that are using Wonders currently that really like it. I've heard wonderful feedback from teachers that have implemented it. One thing though is that they are having the older version generally in schools. So this is the updated version that they are now going to be selling as people are starting to re-explore curriculums or re-adopt the same one that they've already had. It says, we do not reference critical race theory and Wonders or any pre-K-12 program. At McGraw-Hill, equity is a commitment we make to finding a way to reach every child, regardless of their background, regardless of their starting point, and to provide teachers with tools and options for addressing each unique student's needs. For educational materials and the teachers who use them succeed in that task, equity will be achieved. At McGraw-Hill, we have a commitment to providing academically and educationally sound content. We believe that all children should be presented with opportunities to engage in worthwhile tasks and have their materials be free from cultural, ethnic, or gender bias. Wonders is a K-6 English language arts curriculum that provides access to complex grade-level content and skills by employing research-based instructional strategies developed by many of our expert authors, and listed a couple of the authors, actually quite a few of them. Wonders is grounded in the belief that a high-quality, equitable literacy solution provides all students with the opportunities to access and fully engage with rigorous grade-level English language arts standards, and that every student deserves high-quality instruction throughout their education. When using Wonders, each student receives access to grade-level content in each unit of instruction, including reading, writing, speaking, listening, and critical thinking. Thank you for your inquiry.
Ms. Mitchell, I have a question for you on that. So a couple times in that answer that gentleman gave us, I heard the word equity and equitable. What does that mean to you in regards to this curriculum?
So equity for me, in regards to the curriculum, because I believe that I've spent about 20 hours researching, both in person I'd say we did 12 hours in person as a committee looking at curriculums and discussing them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like about 12 hours, 3 hours, 4 times. And then my own personal time researching in order to present to the community members, parents, and also other teachers and staff that were present. And equity to me, in looking at the Wonders program, and also just as an educator myself, is that, it's that classic age-old picture of something being fair isn't always necessarily everyone getting the same size stool or stand, but equity means that we're giving everyone an opportunity to see over the fence by having different size stools and stands that make it so everyone is able to be at the same level, just meeting them where they're at. So equity, really specifically, when we were talking with the representative about it, hits hard on the fact that right now, a lot of the US and other countries as well, specifically though in states in the United States, we are seeing that the whole language approach that we had been doing, where it's like the concept of give a child a book and they'll learn how to read, isn't all that there is to it. And they really hit hard on taking those core foundational concepts that are so huge in creating equity for all students to be able to learn how to read. I mean, we just know that is what brings success for all children and learners. So they talked a lot about equity in the sense of being able to teach phonemic awareness, reading comprehension, background knowledge, all these different pieces. And they give us really cool resources and manipulatives to help us engage our learners as we're teaching them how to be lifelong readers.
So in your opinion, the way they're describing equity doesn't mean they're bringing stuff down to a level, they're elevating individual kids up
Yes.
to a higher level. So we're not dumbing down our program.
No, it's very rigorous. And that's what was really cool about it, as well as that there was a lot of differentiation. And like Brock Guido had mentioned tonight in his letter, they differentiate in a way that makes it very simple for teachers, because there's like the different levels, and level readers aren't necessarily what is considered, what Wonders uses. It's actually decodable readers, and being at different levels within those phonics skills. Might be that one student is reading a book with 20 words in it while another student is reading a book with 60 words in it. They still have the same reading comprehension goals in it. It's just meeting them where they're at.
Thank you for your.
Yeah.
Any
So
other questions?
So it's not equity of outcome per se.
Can you clarify what you mean by that?
Well,
That picture demonstrates equality of outcomes.
right.
No matter how they interpret that, that picture demonstrates equality of outcomes.
So are you saying that in a positive or a negative light?
I'm saying that that equality of outcome is an impossible, it's impossible to achieve.
Correct. You aren't always going to have it be the exact same level, but these tools help students that maybe are struggling be able to get up to the grade level that they're needing to, and then also students that are advanced being challenged.
So we're not gonna have the same outcome because kids are gonna get different grades, different blah, 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 right?
Right, and there's,
That is what that picture
I know where you're coming, that's why I asked that
I'm
question.
asking about what equity means to me. Equity means that each child has fair access to education.
That's why I asked that question. Because I don't wanna have like we did with the No Child Left Behind policy, where they just brought everything down so
No,
that every
that's
kid
not
can
what
pass.
this is.
That's not the way it should be.
No.
So my comment and where I'm coming from this is one, process. In the past, a board member was always on that committee, and whoever set up that committee should know that a board member was normally on that committee. Secondly, our principal has resigned. I have heard from people who are both for this curriculum and against this curriculum. I've spoken to ISBA about the process of a curriculum, and according to ISBA, that process, because it's so complex, normally takes a year. So there can be a back and forth between the board and different members on the committee, and that process usually takes a year. And then, has anybody heard about the trouble with that Middleton is having with that curriculum?
I have not
And-
personally spoken with Middleton.
And
Is it this product?
And recall that at the beginning, I mentioned that
could
they're
be.
using the older version. And there's much higher ratings on the 2023 version, because you go through the, what's it called, EdTPA ratings, and the ratings are much higher on the 2023 version.
so those that I need to process.
So one of the board members, one of the committee members had a comment.
Can I ask, did you read the email that I sent to you guys?
Yes.
So, you just brought up again, it's historically, a board member has been on there. But what I asked was, To my knowledge, that's not a requirement. So that seems to be why are you pushing that if it is not a requirement? Is it just for your own peace of mind?
No. One is process that goes with, I've heard from people that are on the committee that are for it and against it.
Okay.
And so,
Can I continue with that then? Also in my email, I brought up the fact of saying, so if one of you board members were on that committee, throwing that no vote against this, would it still have a majority vote? And then would you pass it that way? If not, it shows that the board vote overrides all the rest of the committee votes.
so
Many of the yay votes have resigned at this point.
On the committee, I'm saying.
I know, but the committee members, several of them that were in favor of this have resigned.
Not.
That's not
I
at all.
resigned from the committee prior to
I
getting
know,
on
but
the
I'm
floor.
saying if it happened later, they would not be
Oh,
here.
they don't
Yes,
think that
so
they.
now it would alter it, but I'm saying if you took our existing scores, I asked if any of you actually asked to see them.
so
Have any of you asked to see the scoring sheet?
Brock,
I have not.
No.
May I also comment on that? So I helped with scoring it, just being like a second set of eyes. And even with the people that are resigning, we still would have a large majority in favor.
I'm not on the committee, but I just have to say on the board member front, and correct me if I'm wrong, the invite went to elementary student parents, of which Sky is one.
Correct.
So Sky would have received an invite to be on that committee.
That's right.
I need to comment about you. There are certain things board members can't say.
Okay.
There is certain information that board members have. In response to you, what I can say is the board member on the committee has got nothing to do with the vote. It is process. And I've heard from parents who are on the committee and parents who are not on the committee who have researched this program. That's all I can say. And I know I'm not saying anything to you, but I cannot say anything more about that.
I
Because
didn't ask that. I was asking if you took our scores and put a no vote to the other side, and we still had a majority, are you saying no, you still wouldn't vote for it?
my response to you is the board members on there to look at process as well, not just the curriculum, at process. And I've heard from parents who are on the committee, and I've heard from parents who are not on the committee who have researched the program. That's as much as I can say.
Can I ask a question? Is that okay?
She's on the
Is it
committee.
open? I'm on the committee now.
You're on the committee, yes.
Are there any teachers that you've spoken to or who have actually spoken to you? Because I can verify through many of us that we took hours and hours and hours beyond these 9 hours, actually researching these, putting together PowerPoints, putting together every single piece of what was presented before we made decisions based on what has been come up with. And what we haven't talked about is we've got a math curriculum too here.
That's amazing.
So it's like when we're not voting on one, we're not voting on either. So that was just, I don't understand that either. I was just asking.
So part of what I understand about being on the board, 1 and 2, with personal experience. When a board member goes to speak to a teacher, you open yourself up to trouble.
I guess my question is, has any teachers come to you and said that they didn't like the curriculum or there was negativity involved in the curriculum? So I'm saying we're the ones who did all this research and all of this time and again presented it to a huge amount. No, we presented it in our group to how many parents? Every parent who wanted to be on it and every teacher. We presented every curriculum that we were given that were Idaho-based. And they decided, they as in the committee as a whole, not the people presenting it, we presented it, then it was a decision based with everybody of which curriculums we thought would be best for what we needed. So I'm sorry, I just get excited, but I don't mean to, it's just my voice.
Yeah.
But that's what I don't understand is that this was opened up to anybody who wanted to be a part.
Yes, exactly. It was.
It's, the member just didn't volunteer for it. And now you want to push it off because he didn't, if that's the case.
I'm also on the committee, so may I speak?
Sure.
I would, you know, and I understand that a lot of this is thinking about the reading curriculum. And the math curriculum was unanimous in our group.
It was.
Where the reading curriculum was not.
Correct.
And I would like your consideration of thinking about possibly, because our math curriculum we have is crap right now. And waiting a whole other year, it would be a travesty. But so I would like you to consider maybe looking at it and, you know, taking both as separate items.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I have a procedural question for Melissa.
What's up?
At our last meeting, I think we didn't realize, it was brought to my attention that this was time sensitive,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Are we still in that time window?
Can it still be ordered for next year?
Well, at this point,
It can still be ordered. It's questionable how much training we would get from Raw Hill at this point because of scheduling,
Because
but it can be ordered.
They
Yes.
fill up classes.
I believe, I'm working with the state of Idaho to approve the new stuff for the next fund coming.
Right.
And that's separate from school. And what was my point? They're supposed to be a repository of the materials available to us if they are on the state list. So I think getting materials is not an issue, but possibly, as Randy said,
Training issue.
could be an issue.
I would like to say, just from a teacher perspective, especially with not potential, us having a lot of new teachers next year, the current digital system for our curriculum is very difficult to navigate and not user friendly. And so one of the huge perks for both of these programs is that, like we talked about a little bit before with Emily, there's like an entire calendar option that populates all the standards and lessons that need to be taught throughout the entire year for me, even based on the 4-day school week. Same with the math program. And there's a lot of assessment tools on there that are amazing, that I feel if a new teacher coming into a new school where they're learning the community, they're learning their students, the current programs that we have are not user friendly on the digital side, and this would be a huge benefit.
Let
me share something too. When we adopt a curriculum, that does not mean that we are required to teach everything in that curriculum.
Correct.
Okay, we can pick and choose what we use. You can't cover everything in a school year. Okay. Any parent that had any concern about any part of that curriculum, they can look at it. We'll give them, they'll have access to it. All they have to do is voice a concern to the school. We'll investigate it. We'll bring it to the board if we need to. If there's anything concerning, if it's critical race theory, whatever you want to ask about, it can be looked into and it can be excluded from being taught in that particular class or that.
Can I just repeat what I said in my letter? Is that this would not have been approved by the board, the Idaho Board of Education, had they considered any part of this evidence. And then those on the curriculum committee also, I know that there was people who took down home different grade levels, and we went through them page by page just to see if there were valid concerns or there was anything concerning for us, because we didn't want to come in and be in any way negative or bring anything to the attention that we were concerned about either. Like, did we miss something?
Right.
We went back and said, did we miss something? And there's been nothing that we can see that justifies not sending this curriculum through. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't make sense to me. The hours that we've spent.
I just want to clarify, because in my training for what I'm doing with the state, none of these are approved by the state of Idaho. All we do is we go through and we make sure that it hits the standards. They're not approved, they're not judged as good or bad. We're not allowed to do that. We only are allowed to say, yes, it meets the standards. No, it does not. So it's not an approval. It just says, yes, it meets, and the standards are new now.
But there's a law against critical race theory, so we'd have to comply with that law, would it not?
Right.
Not, well,
Right?
but that's judgmental too. It's not black and white. And we are, and I will say that as we're going forward in this process for the new stuff for the state, we are allowed to put in there that there are things in here that would be against our culture of our local area, such as
We've got,
critical race theory or
If it's illegal in Idaho,
we
we
have
might
counsel on
have
this and we have
or there'd be a
well, you're assuming everybody talks to everybody else.
we have legal counsel on this. We need to
Yeah,
start this discussion.
because it's really, and I've just gotten all my stuff, and really all I'm allowed to do is go and say, oh, yes, it does teach this. Oh, yes, it does teach this. Oh, yes, it does teach this.
And why?
And we are allowed
I'll say
to
it.
choose things not on that list with
So-
board approval.
So curriculum, it's one of the major things that the school board is over. Right? It's a major thing that we approve. And right now, I'm gonna ask for this discussion to stop because I think board members and the super need to go and read legal counsel that was emailed to us.
Are you gonna take a recess? Is that what you're saying?
What's it?
Are you taking a recess?
I don't know because I read legal counsel and I am gonna ask for this discussion to be.
I have a policy that might need to be referenced here. Policy number 1240 on the duties of the individual trustees says that each trustee shall review the agenda and study any materials distributed prior to the meeting and be prepared to participate in discussion and decision-making for each agenda item. Are you indicating that you did not come prepared and you did not read this information before the meeting?
I am saying that I read legal counsel and I just can't open that now. But sometimes when we receive legal counsel, we should be very careful not to step outside of that. And I did read legal counsel, but for me to recall, if you look at what we needed to read here, I need to clarify certain wording, and therefore I was going to my phone, trying to open up that email just to clarify wording.
Is that one of the emails that
because-
Randy or I sent?
Yes,
It's in that packet right there. I printed everything that you've been sent, and you were sent everything multiple times.
okay, it's just that I have on phone and I did read it. But as I said, sometimes,
Which document are you looking for?
we are volunteers. And for this meeting, I've spent more than 15 hours on just reading stuff, not just reading stuff, speaking to people. And when people call me, I take the call.
Well, I think that what this policy is saying is that the trustees have to be prepared to discuss these items.
Are you saying there's an email from our attorney on this?
There is an email from regarding Title IX, but not regarding the.
And then the bottom part of that email addresses curriculum.
Oh, okay, let me pull that out. I'll grab that email.
Does the board want an actual presentation of the
We
curriculum
could
being presented?
look through the items as well. That's why I brought it.
So this is just broken down by grade level.
So this,
Here's like
okay,
right?
you're saying the back to the bottom of it?
Yes, so everything that you see in print, you see visual as well. And then these are giant books that come for kindergarten and first grade. It's really engaging too. We really liked the pictures and thought that the kids would enjoy the stories. Here's a workbook as well. practice book.
Oh, that was.
So we can exclude.
I was trying to get out of the way.
Don't run over. You can't, because you got to right here.
Right.
Just make sure it's the center. So actually, we don't get into it. And now sit in that chair.
And everyday mathematics is amazing because it's more game based and it's very interactive. We all just love this program.
Oh, here, I've got it on my computer here.
Yeah.
Did you find it?
Much different than
It is, that's for sure.
Our softball together.
Because I didn't even know that. So we brought other kids to have access to that.
So about your point, about coming prepared, there is something in there that we need clarity with.
Okay.
I contact the school's attorney, and the school's attorney would rather speak to the board chair.
Was it in regards to curriculum?
Nope. But it was one issue, because when I get the agenda, I make sure that, look at what are the important things to me, and I deal with that first.
Right.
And when the attorney said, look, he doesn't want to, he'd rather speak to the school board chair, which is, he's the school board's attorney. I contacted him about something in that email pertaining to curriculum. So do I come prepared to the meeting? Absolutely.
What I'm wondering is are you guys able to make a vote on this? I guess that's where I was going with that. Like, is everybody prepared to make a vote? Because that's supposed to be what happens.
So what I gotta say here is that I know that everybody's been talking about time here, and everybody, including board, including parents, including teachers and all the professionals that we deal with, all put in a lot of time over and above what I've seen teachers do things way over and above. I've seen school administrators do way over and above what they do. I know that we all care for our children in this community. I know that we're very protective, right? And a lot of this is coming from protectionism that we see from outside influences. And that was my main goal with getting on this board, was to try to protect our kids from outside influences where we could, right? So I think a lot of this is stemming from that, but in my discussions with people who've come to me on the committee and anyways, I'll make this shorter. I trust the people who are on this committee, and they've basically told me that this was the best curriculum that they've seen presented to them. So I don't know. I just think we need to move this to a vote tonight. So I'm going to move that we approve the adoption of the new K-5 curriculum as written here. And thank you, curriculum people, for your time and effort on this.
The chairman can second. They just can't make a motion.
Well, I had similar concerns to some verbiage that the lawyer shared with us. And when the board is, we can make decisions and be doing the best we can and intend to and be for the students, but a legal entity can determine that we were violating somebody's rights. You know, we did things in good faith. And we have some verbiage from the lawyer that says that excluding curriculum without a legitimate pedagogical concern could violate the First Amendment. So we don't know what that means to us as board members, but we could.
Could you
So
read
there's a-
it? Could you read it again? Or-
I think it means that if you, as a board, choose not to adopt this curriculum and you exclude it without a legitimate pedagogical concern, then you could be violating the First Amendment. That's what I think the lawyer's telling you right there.
I thought it was the fact that we can pick and choose what we want to teach.
No, pedagogy is how the curriculum is,
The entire.
that's the whole thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
see, I was thinking that where we were taking pieces out and.
And then in the next paragraph where he goes on to say, if you're gonna exclude a curriculum, i.e. not approve this, then a careful examination should be made by the educational professionals to explain how the exclusion supports the student's education. So, I mean, he's basically saying, if you're gonna not approve this curriculum, you gotta have some really good reasons why.
Not pieces of the curriculum.
Right, the curriculum itself.
See, because it's very important to us, or me, I'll speak for myself, that we are able to, as you stated, teach a curriculum and pick and choose from that curriculum the things that match the values of the Garden Valley.
That's still allowed, yes.
That's still allowed. But that's
That's the
not.
way education is done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how it's done now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying lawyers get involved and muck up the works. You know, I mean,
I think we need more discussion on that.
So the time sensitivity on this, we need, I can see where there's some additional discussion with legal counsel potentially, right?
ISBA
Yeah.
says the curriculum process usually takes a year.
Is it required?
No.
There you go.
Can I ask, just because I've never been here before during a curriculum thing, I know the middle school curriculum was chosen just a couple of years ago. No board member on it.
Correct.
It took about the same,
Correct.
the same amount of time, right?
Yep.
So we have approved other curriculums, right, in Garden Valley in the same amount of time, and that has never been asked for before.
This is, yeah.
This is an exception to every rule before now. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that this is.
What's an exception to have a board member on?
No, I was just saying that asking, that this has never happened before, that the board has never asked us that, this normally takes a year, or those expectations have never been set so high for any other curriculum that's been decided on, like the middle school curriculum, was the last curriculum that was decided on by the school and school board, and it was done.
I might go.
If two board members did not resign tonight, we would not be in this position. I'm sure we'd have had a motion approved and voted on. But
You still can.
Yeah, you still can. You have a motion on the table. It needs a second. And then you can take a
We don't
vote.
have a bureaucracy in our area that would make it take a year, where West Ada would.
I'm speaking to process. And that's about as much as I
The
can.
process
I
does not
can't,
require a year.
I can't explain process. That's all I'm comfortable saying.
Can I ask, do you have something against this curriculum that you can talk specifically about? Are you aware of it? You looked through it that we need to know about? Because if you are being very specific in targeting the reading curriculum here, and I'm just wondering why that is, especially when so many of us have donated our time and efforts towards it, and we're confused of why, when we've done it and looked through the curriculum, why why our opinions don't matter.
Point
What
to
will-
a page number.
What that is, I just am
Bothering you.
confused. I just would like to understand.
And their professionalism as well.
Yes, yes.
I could possibly answer that question when I'm not sitting up here as a trustee.
But isn't, I'm
But
so.
that
I'm
goes
so-
into your decision,
I'm
so what goes into your
sorry,
decision
yes.
should be
That doesn't-
available to us, for us to
I
know.
would just like to understand why our time, effort, professionalism as a committee isn't being taken into account here. What information do you have that we have not been given?
I
Especially,
recognize that the committee has put in a lot of time. But also accept that as board members, we do put in a lot of time.
oh, I'm not comparing, I
That's no
understand.
And-
comparison.
We helped you out by taking this committee on.
And-
You don't have time.
And the main reason why I joined the board was the education of our kids. And we had during public discussion, somebody said something about the direction our education and our ranking of our school has moved. While I was on the board. It happened while I was on the board. And I take that very, very seriously because my aim was education.
And this is
And I
not
was
doing that.
not allowed to do that. And so I'm saying that, for you to hear, I'm really, really, really big on education. Because I was educated under another system. And it's only because my teachers took their role as educated that I turned out the way I turned out. Because my teachers took that upon themselves. So my heart is to educate kids in Garden Valley.
And
That being said,
yes, that's
And
exactly
that's
what we're trying
our heart
to do.
is too.
and that being understood, there are certain things that, and that is why I looked at that is the agenda item is for questions from the board to be answered by the members of the curriculum. So I would not want to answer that question while I'm sitting up here.
okay, so my next question is, the lawyer said in his, if you cannot give us a direct reason for
Then
not
it has
passing
to be
this
passed.
curriculum, then you are in violation of First Amendment rights. Isn't that what that said? I'm so sorry. I
And
just
so
wanna make
that
sure
is why I want to go and I want to find out what that means.
That is exactly what it means. I mean, I'm sorry, but that is exactly what it means.
It's just
So-
saying if you can't give us a viable reason.
I also completely respect and really appreciate the time that you guys do put into this, and I
Yeah.
Sure.
absolutely understand that. But I would like to point out that the demos that were an hour long by professionals of these companies were sent to you a month ago.
And you have all the logins and you could have gone on any of those curriculums. They're on your documents page on the website,
Yes.
under the school board.
And I've gone to some of them. And I've gone to some of them.
This is out of line, but our current curriculum sucks. I mean, for what it's
Is
worth.
it
I'm just saying that as a mom and more as I
Separate,
know
too?
more than anybody how much education means. It's something we don't
It's not written that way on the
very strongly
agenda.
do.
What?
She was asking if we could separate it, but it's not written that way on the agenda, so at this point, we can't change that.
There's one other thing again that goes along with the old curriculum is that if we do not do this, our old curriculum, a lot of the pieces of it have expired. So many of the teachers do not have the electronic versions
No.
of anything.
And worthwhile for
first.
Well,
True.
That may be true,
But-
yeah, but
This
But a lot of
is pretty much the same curriculum they have.
and it's.
How long has the
In a lot of
curriculum been in
ways.
place, the current one we're using?
I believe we discussed it in a bit about, because you adopt for usually about 5 or 6 years. I can't recall which it was, but it was in that time frame.
Mhm.
And
So my
it's-
motion's still out there.
I'm gonna second it because, and I'll just state the reason why. I know that the existing curriculum is failing us at this point. And this appears to be, has had some review, extensive review, and I'm sure you did it comparing it to what we have, right?
Mhm.
And of other.
Yeah, we actually had others, I mean, we actually. had
Well,
three.
right, you had
Yes.
various curriculums to evaluate. I'll speak for myself, but I know there's others on the board that have the same concern. We are very aware at how insidious the educational system has changed over time in curriculum toward things that don't match our values. Okay. And curriculum is one of the ways they do it. And so I have obviously, I haven't been able to experience what you did evaluating the curriculum. I know it's most likely better, and that's the reason for my second, but there's going to be, in the fact that we can tailor, customize it for our needs. And so it really comes down to the teachers keeping an eye out for the things that are clearly against
That's right,
our values.
that's right.
And so I guess what I'm saying is I'm putting my trust in the teachers.
I'm glad you said that. Let me segue, and I shared this with the board back in July of last year. And we taught this in our in-service days before school started. On July 1st, 2021, the Idaho legislature passed a law that forbids us from teaching any tenet of critical race theory. We are forbidden by law. They are from doing that. So even if it were in this curriculum somewhere buried, we can't teach it. And if it's brought to our attention, we'll immediately cease it, because by law we can't teach it. So I hope that gives you a level of comfort. And the
it still
teachers,
comes down to the teacher.
it does, absolutely, but they know that responsibility.
Can we do that in discussion? Because we have a motion and a second.
Any further discussion?
This is.
Sorry.
This is further discussion.
This is discussion.
I apologize, I didn't formally. So, do we, in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay.
And 2-1 it will carry.
So the motion passes.
2-0 it will carry.
Yeah, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, guess what? We've reached the end of our board meeting.
Well, you were gonna put item K on
Item
there,
K,
if you guys want to do, look
Hey,
at this.
no,
Oh,
but
you're
you
right.
have to be on the committee and it's passed, so
Okay.
it's moved.
Or
it's
future
moot.
committees. if you-
Yeah.
Or if you wanna
Yes,
look at
Yeah,
it again
please,
for the
I mean,
following
that's
year.
great.
Yeah, you can always,
Is there committee on the?
can we mention the special board meeting?
Oh, yes. Yes, before we adjourn, I'd like to announce that there will be a special board meeting next Tuesday, May 17th at 6 PM.
Okay.
So
Oh,
we're gonna be busy. There are so many things that we need to do. So the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for.
Thank you.
for-
So once you know the meeting's adjourned, can you tell us what we need to do now? Because I know you, if you know something, you can't send out.